Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Dark Reviewer. And today, kicking off my brand new streak of videos, I'll be releasing 4 videos within the next 4 days to get y'all, caught up with the few reviews that I've been missing. But, in saying that, today we will be reviewing the widely appraised and greatest film um, in the DC history of films, in my opinion, The Batman. Now, why do I say this? Why do I say The Batman is such a good film? Well, that and more will be talked about in this review. So, before we get started, again, if you haven't seen The Batman, all spoilers, spoilers ahead. Just watch out, take care, and let's have some fun, shall we? Now, if you like what you see here, then I would like you to go down there, and push that subscribe button. And if you like what you see, then hit the like button. And if you want to stay caught up on all my latest videos, hit the bell. But anyway, let's get into the review. We start off the Batman in a more operatic sense. We hear opera music playing while a man is looking through a pair of binoculars at a young boy. Now, we are led to believe for a moment this could be Bruce Wayne, but in actuality, it's just the mayor's kid, and the mayor's wife and the mayor's kid are going to go out, and they are going to, well, go trick or treating for the night. But as the music slowly fades away, we see that the mayor is watching TV and the current election is going on. Now, he's not really happy that one of his opponents is getting a lot more traction than he is. So he tries to get her taken out quietly. But as he's talking about this, he gets attacked by what in our movie, who is the main villain, the Riddler, played by Paul Dano. Now, the Riddler in this movie is very terrifying. He's almost has this sort of erotic sense to it every time he does a killing. He almost gets off on it. Like it's something that gets him high or gets makes him feel good about himself. But anyway, we then see the Riddler try to tape the mayor's head up as thunder cracks after he pulls a bit of tape out and stretches it out. Now, we hear a voiceover from our main protagonist, Robert Pattinson, who is playing our dear Dark Knight, the Bruce Wayne, or the Batman. Why did I say the Bruce Wayne? That is. Anyway, so in this movie, the Batman is a lot more vengeful. He's not really the hero we really know him as just yet. This is in his year 2. So, he gives us a little narration that he can't be everywhere in this city at once. That sometimes he has to just be at a certain place at a certain time. Now, he can't really do that because, he's Batman. He wants to scare the criminals. He wants to put the fear of God in these guys. But when he gets done dealing with a bunch of criminals that are trying to mug a man, he sees the bat signal and goes to the mayor's house, where he then finds a dead mayor with his thumb cut off. Riddle. Oh, now the riddle states, what does a liar do when he's dead? Now, obviously, our dear Dark Knight, being the world's greatest detective, figures this out fairly quickly. He lies still. So, what happens is he has to leave because the commissioner at the time doesn't really like the Batman because he thinks of him as a vigilante and he thinks that he might be working with the Riddler. So, what Batman does is he goes back through the whole night, making sure that he got everything. And when he finally figures out what the cipher means, he brings it back to Commissioner Gordon, and they find a thumb drive. Well, they find the mayor's thumb with a drive on it that then shows that the mayor wasn't so loyal with his wife after all. And so, what Batman does is he goes to the one place where he knows that all the criminals and all the gang members meet up at the Iceberg Lounge, which then he interrogates the Penguin, or Oswald Cobblepot. Which then he also meets a woman called Selina Kyle. Now, he notices that she does know who that woman is, so he follows her back to her apartment, which then he finds the woman. Then he also follows Selina Kyle to the mayor's house again, which then he learns that she is a master thief called Catwoman. Now he tries to interrogate her. They kind of fight a little bit, and he basically tries to go back and find the girl that she was looking after. Finds out she's missing. So her and Batman now have to work together to find out who the Riddler is, while also trying to figure out where the girl Yelena is. So what Batman ends up doing is that he then kind of figures out about Riddler's next victim, who turns out to be the Commissioner. And the Commissioner is dead. We find out he was chewed away by rats. So that all happens. Well, Bruce Wayne is also trying to kind of live with himself and figure out who he wants to be, while also trying to keep Alfred at arm's length. But he eventually ends up teaming up with Catwoman again to find out who kidnapped Yelena. And, well, it ends up to be a kind of whole ordeal where he puts Catwoman back into the Iceberg Lounge and sends her down to the 44 below. And when he does that, she ends up talking with the DA, who actually knows what's going on, and who the Riddler is trying to find. So, with this happening, Batman wants to know more, but then Catwoman is then interrupted by Carmine Falcone, who runs the whole operation there, and also turns out to be Catwoman's father, which we don't learn out until her and Batman are in an argument. She takes out the eye lens, and then she leaves Batman to his own devices. Now, the DA then gets kidnapped by the Riddler. And then the next day, well, the whole Gotham City and its inhabitants are mourning the loss of their mayor, where they then get a car crash into their building, which turns out to be the DA, and he has a bomb strapped to his neck. And if they don't answer the phone, if Batman doesn't answer the phone and save the DA, then, well, DA is kind of screwed. So, after hours have passed and nighttime has come, Batman shows up, talks to the DA, and then he answers the phone, which then the Riddler comes out and says that if the if the DA wants to live, then he has to answer 3 simple riddles. So what that entails is that if he doesn't answer the riddles, he dies. So the Riddler asks his questions, and well, the DA answers them. He asks the first question, and that basically it can be cruel, blind, or it can be cruel, poetic, or blind, but when denied, it is vengeance you may find. which Batman quickly figures out that the answer is justice. And the Riddler then goes on to a second question. If you are justice, please do not lie. How much to turn your blind eye? Which is counting towards a bribe, which Batman also figures out very quick. And then the DA has to tell the Riddler, and basically spilling how much he would have to be paid for him to look away for certain cases. As time slowly ticks down and the bomb is about to go off, the Riddler asks his third and final question. If your justice is so select, which vermin are you paid to protect? Which entails the rat that Batman is looking for in his investigation. So, the DA, scared to death, doesn't want to reveal who it is, but Batman knows that if he doesn't, he's going to die. And the DA was so scared that he didn't do it, and the bomb exploded, knocking Batman back. Batman wakes up and has a bunch of cops around him. One of them trying to take off his mask. He gets rowdy and he pushes the cop back. And Commissioner Gordon then, calms him down. And after a bit of a scuffle with more cops, Commissioner Gordon asks to talk to Batman alone, and in a whispering manner tells him that he has to get out of there, gives him a key to the roof, to which then Batman has to punch Commissioner Gordon in the face, because it's the only way to get out of there. And he runs to the roof, which then comes off into this nice gliding sequence that was supposed to be practical effects, but since COVID had struck, then they couldn't do it practically, so they had to digital effect it. But they also did do it somewhat practically by making him kind of do the gliding sequence in a green screen room, which I thought was pretty cool. He still looked really badass in the scene, but he ended up hitting a wall, which then made him kind of go flying through a bunch of trash cans. He runs off, meets up with Commissioner Gordon later, and then they have to go find Oswald Cobblepot, because he might be the rat that they're looking for. And so, with this happening, they go and find out Oswald is still running the drops operation, because apparently the drops operation that the GCPD had busted was all fake, and nothing actually happened to it, and it's still running. So, with also finding out that Batman is dealing with Catwoman again, and she comes under heavy fire because the Penguin sees Batman and Catwoman talking, and what happens is that the Batman then gets into his own muscle car, or in this movie, the Batmobile. Then a brilliant chase sequence happens where Batman's rushing through the whole bits of Gotham City streets, chasing after the Penguin, and when he finally catches up with him, the Penguin basically blows up a tanker. Batman jumps over it and meets up with the Penguin, which then Commissioner Gordon and the Batman both basically are doing their own little duet, if you may say, of just talking with the Penguin. Penguin reveals he's not the rat, and he doesn't know who the rat is. But eventually, Penguin corrects Batman on his Spanish, because of what the Riddler left. The answer was "You are El Rata Alada" when the Commissioner died. And since that was the case, he corrected Batman on the Spanish, because he said it was some of the worst Spanish he's ever heard. Batman then gets the idea that URL Rata Alada means URL. So then he types in a website which you could go visit and talk to the Riddler. and he starts talking with the Riddler himself. The Riddler then gives him a clue to where his next victim is, which is the old Wayne estate that burnt down. Now, in this movie, the Wayne Manor turned into an orphanage and was burnt down many years ago. So, what Batman and Commissioner Gordon do was they go there, but they find a projector that tells them their next victim is going to be Bruce Wayne. So, Batman does disappearing act with Commissioner Gordon, and then he goes and rushes home to only find out that Alfred had kind of caught an explosion that was meant for Bruce. And so Batman then goes to Carmine Falcone after some news is released about his father or killing a man. But then after he goes and talks to Carmine, he goes back to find out Alfred is now awake, and he asks him why. Alfred tells him the real truth, the one that Carmine kind of left out, and the bits and pieces he did. And so Batman now has to kind of help out with a few other things with Catwoman. Catwoman had kind of taken one of the guys hostage. It was a cop, and then he stopped her from killing him, but she was now on a warpath to go kill Carmine Falcone. So, Batman basically does this whole cool ass montage where he goes in as Bruce Wayne, or he goes in as the Drifter, which in this movie is kind of Batman's other secret identity, which is like the way to blend in with the crowd without just being without being like armored up and looking like a giant bat. So he goes in as the Drifter, turns off the power, and then goes down and has this cool ass fight scene with a bunch of guys just start shooting at him, and he meets Catwoman, stops her from killing Carmine Falcone, and basically Carmine is now getting arrested. Now, this is it. We found our guy. We found our person that the Riddler's been looking for. Now, the movie has to be over, right? It's all over. There's no other movie. There's no movie left of this, except that the Riddler had now killed Carmine Falcone because Batman basically did what the Riddler wanted, was bring him into the light. So, after Falcone is now dead, they then catch the Riddler. Finally, Batman goes to Arkham, and after looking through the Riddler's place, to talk with the Riddler. The Riddler then gives him a long-winded speech where, almost through a part of it, Batman had thought the Riddler had figured out his secret identity. But it turns out the Riddler was just telling him that the one who got away was Bruce Wayne. So, the Riddler accidentally tells Batman his plan, which was still in his apartment. So Batman goes back to the apartment and finds out about the bombs that Riddler had hidden throughout the city, which then were planning on going off. As they exploded, it flooded Gotham City, to the point where at the rally where the next mayor was going to get elected, it started to flood in there, so people had to start evacuating. But while that was also happening, the Riddler had also put in other plans for his kind of goons to kill the new mayor to kind of set the whole thing straight. Batman obviously stops this, but not without coming out with a few injuries himself. After getting shot with a shotgun to his chest and almost falling off a balcony, Catwoman saves him, and they share a long and tender kiss, but it was quickly interrupted by the same guy who shot Batman with a shotgun about to kill Catwoman, So Batman pulls out an adrenaline shot, sticks it in his leg, and he gets this sudden rush of energy to then get up and beat the absolute crap out of the dude that shot him and is beating on Catwoman. And he's only stopped by Commissioner Gordon after kind of what seemed like an infinite amount of rage was burrowing up in him. But eventually, he sees that an electrical wire is about to kind of electrify the water and kill a lot of people in the building. So what he does is he grabs onto the wire and cuts it with the kind of batarang he has on his chest, plunging him into the deep depths below, submerging himself in the water, getting rid of the logo, and kind of having a baptism effect to him, because now he's reborn as not just the Batman, but a better person, who then doesn't want to seek out vengeance, wants to give hope. And the first person he wants to give hope to is the first victim's son, the original mayor. And after that, he gives hope to everyone by leading them all out of the building and leading them to safety. He sticks around with almost every single injured person, sending them away in a helicopter, just trying to keep everyone safe. And he realizes that he can't make a difference in his city with vengeance. He needs to make it with hope. And that's kind of where we leave our movie on. There is a kind of scene where Batman and Catwoman say their goodbyes. The movie ends with Batman with his new light on him, kind of. But the one thing I like about the end of this movie is the fact that after he gets the baptism, we don't hear the main Batman theme anymore of the movie. It never plays after that. But yeah, that was the Batman. All in all, I think it's a fantastic movie. I think that Matt Reeves did a fantastic job, and I do hope he makes a sequel. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. And for a little hint of what our next review is going to be, I would say that this man is a symbol of hope. But anyway, I'll see y'all next time. Peace.